Hello everyone, Loremaster of Sotek here, and it's patch note time, because CA has decided that they're going to start releasing the patch notes the day before it comes out instead of the day of, which I think in general is good. Lets people read over it without just, gives you something to do, something to look at the day before. So we're just going to jump right into it. There's a ton to cover, and my review about Shadows of Change will probably be coming out tomorrow. Unless this comes out tomorrow, in which case it'll come out today. Whatever, you'll see it when you see it. So, release stop. We're going to skip the DLC stuff because that's its own thing. Echoed Hellbrass, of course, is going to be coming out as free LC. So, make sure that you have your log into your CA account and make sure it's all linked up. That shouldn't be too big of an issue. He is available to the Zinc factions as well as most of the Warriors of Chaos. So you can acquire him with any of the Warriors of Chaos except for Azazel, Valkia, and Festus. But Archaon, Sigvald, Kolek, and the whatever the hell his name, Village the Curseling can all get him, which is quite nice. So be sure to grab that. What's wrong with my voice? Anyway, 13 new landmarks. If you want to see all the landmarks, I did make a video that shows them all off, so you can go check those out. I'm hoping some of them will see, like the Pillar of Bone, I am deeply hoping will be made available to more factions. That is something that we might be seeing appear in either like a hotfix or patch 4.1. But I did find all of these and show them off. There's also two they technically don't show off here, which is that there is a unique build. There's two unique buildings, I should say, for Mother Ostankia. The one that's in her starting settlement, and then the Widow Tree in Plesk, which is in Kislev, which gives her some buffs for her hags, and that is unique to her. There's also 32 new achievements. I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time achievement hunting because achievement hunting gives me good brain chemicals. So that's going to give me an excuse to play a lot of factions. And I think I might actually use that as an opportunity to work on some suggestion videos for how to make them better. Stability and performance. They fixed quite a few different bugs and other issues. It's that eternal battle of them fixing tons of bugs and stability issues and performance problems. And then new ones will inevitably appear. And then we'll solve those, and then some old ones will inevitably reappear, but that's just kind of the nature of the situation. Gameplay. So some of these, so this is a change I actually really like. So they've made it where you only get victory tickets from the main big bad point in siege battles. It used to be that you would get victory tickets from the main final point and the leadership point. Now it is only the major point, which is really good because it gives you a central location to fall back to should your garrison not be particularly large or you've just taken a considerable amount of damage and are falling back. It gives you a concrete place to fall back to. I always hated that the enemy could capture like the center of the city instead of like the very far back part of the city, and they would take it over somehow. That was always super dumb. Really glad they fixed that. They have fixed an issue with, or no, this is not a fix, this is just an alteration, where they've allowed you to just reinforce wherever you want on campaign battles, as long, like, you can, for those that don't know, when you're reinforcing in a campaign battle, the little arrow that says where you're going to reinforce in from, you can actually click it and drag it around, so you can appear from anywhere if you'd like. So if you ever have a situation where you're like, oh no, I'm going to appear next to the AI and then they're just going to kill me, you could drag it around so you can have a better defensible position or maybe a shorter route to join with the rest of your army. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that when you move that arrow, it increases how long it takes for your reinforcements to show up. So basically, they've just made some little tweaks to that. This is an excellent change, which is that Wood Elves and Beastmen now have minor settlement battle maps when they are occupying settlements instead of just using their pathway maps. So now if you attack the Wood Elves and they are holding a settlement that is not like a magical forest, or for the Beastmen, if you're attacking the Beastmen in a settlement, you will now get to actually do, settlement battles, which is very, very good. I think that is excellent news. and helps, give some more flavor in some new battle maps, which is always great. They've made it, they fixed a issue a lot of people were having with ranged units charging into combat when they ran out of ammo, which, cool. And then a couple of other just little things. Rules and systems. I don't think any of these are super relevant to anything I want to focus on. They've just fixed some various little things. They've added new intern notifications for Demon Cults, Skaven Undercities, and Vampire Coast Pirate Coves if those are available. That's quite nice. You can always turn them off if they're annoying, but that's really cool. And then let's see. They fixed some other just kind of minor bugs. Cool. Okay, this section actually has a couple of really interesting things. So the tooltip improvements, they've just fixed for like how to use the sticky tools. So if you want, when you mouse over something and you want the tooltip, there is a shortcut where you can just immediately hit a button and it'll immediately stick, or you can turn off the delay so it just always sticks, which I actually will probably do that because usually I want sticky on. AI rules and logic. So this is a pretty interesting section that talks about ways that they have tried to make the AI a little better. So fixed an issue preventing AI defending armies from using all available funds to purchase deployables during the deployment phase and settlement battles. So basically this is just saying that when you would attack the AI and they're defending a settlement, they were having an issue where they wouldn't use all of their money to build up like towers or blockades and stuff like that. Now they will use all of their money, which is good. That's what they should be doing, because that actually incentivizes the AI to, try and hold you off so that they can build up more siege defense funds and stuff like that. Fix an issue in settlement battles preventing AI units from pathing through areas where deployables have been constructed. Good. AI units will also now more reliably attack deployables that are blocking them instead of trying to go around. Also good. Very nice. AI Bretonnia will no longer fail to unlock vows on their paladins. Okay. Servants of the Conclave will now declare war on factions who raid them. Makes sense. Let's see. Fix some blobbing issues when multiple AI units attempt to move through entry points, such as wall breaches, gate entries, and open entries. So this should make them a little better at getting in and, moving around doing stuff, and a little less prone to being easily exploited by like AoE spells and siege weapons. In summon battles where an attacking army is assisted by AI reinforcements, an issue has been fixed. Okay, that's good. Fix an issue where attacking is prevented from idly waiting for reinforcement armies with extended arrival delays. That's good. So especially in siege battles, but just any battles, you want the AI to be aggressive and not just wait for like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes for their allies to show up. So that's a good change. Rogue armies will no longer have multiple lords. Good. Fix an issue where AI missile units were being issued missile attack orders on obstructed targets. Okay. Okay, so just some overall nice fixes, make the AI a little smarter. Exploit fixes. When the player delegates reinforcing armies to AI control, the opposing AI will now likewise delegate an equal number of reinforcing armies to be controlled separately. This stops players from overwhelming AI opponents by having all their reinforcements appear on the battlefield as separate AI-controlled armies, as the AI opponent will now reinforce the battlefield with the same number of armies where possible. So that's good. So I guess some people had figured out an exploit where you can make the AI control your allies, therefore the AI thinks it has more units than it does. So that's good. And then making some sweeping changes to AI, especially when it comes to... I'm not sure why this section is separate from this section. Oh, I guess these are more like... I don't know why these sections are different. But anyway, so let's see what improvements they have made to the AI. Sweet baby Jesus, there's a lot here. All right. So, AI diplomacy. Distance is now more important to the AI when engaging in diplomacy. Excellent. So they are less likely to declare war on you if you're really, really far away. And they're also just less likely to just deal with you if you're really far away. Because you just don't matter to them. Like, you need to be closer if they're really going to be focusing on you. The AI is less likely to declare war when it is in a bad situation, reducing the number of war declarations from factions that are in trouble. That's good. If they're in trouble, they should be focusing on themselves. When the AI is considering a peace deal, the impact of casualties on its decision-making has been doubled, meaning that the AI should offer peace deals more often if it's received significant recent losses. I have noticed this in my playthroughs, and this is a really nice change. and is quite effective. It's very, very good for if there's an AI that like declares war on you, or you want something very specific from them, but you don't want to dedicate like fighting them for a long time because you don't want to go off in that direction because your real opponents are like in the opposite direction. You don't want to leave an exposed flank in your empire. Now you can like crush the enemy in a really, really big military victory and use that as a springboard to force peace, which is quite nice. Passive factions like the ones that live in Wood Elf Forest are now less likely to go to war. That's good. They should only be going to war if they're planning on actually coming out and doing something, or if I've been raiding their territory and they want me to get out. Fixed an issue affecting AI's view on enemy strength. Good. The effect of diplomatic events will now subside twice as fast, with the exception of giving gifts. So this basically just means that if you happen to get an event, like a random event comes up that's like, oh, this thing happened, so you get plus 20 diplomacy with Kislev. Now that's not gonna just last for like ever. It's a much shorter period of time for you to make use of that little boost and try and take advantage of whatever event occurred. Battles in hostile territory and hero actions now have a smaller impact on diplomacy. Okay, cool. So they're a little less sensitive to if you are stealing tech from them or whatever your heroes might be up to, or if you're fighting in their territory against people. Increase the number of diplomatic goals each AI faction can generate per turn from 1 to 3, and made it clearer to understand the AI's attitude towards other factions. So basically, the AI is more likely to give you a series, like have things that they're wanting to accomplish, and you can also mouse over their attitude to try and figure out how they're feeling towards certain factions. So you can know, for instance, oh, I want to be friend with Grombrindal, so I should find out who Grombrindal hates and who he likes. That way I can beat on the people he hates to make him like me more, and I can be nice to the people he likes so that he'll also like me more. So that just gives you more tools in your toolbox. AI to AI diplomatic context has been reworked, meaning AI factions should be more capable of discovering each other. Cool. Actions of an AI towards a faction will now have less impact on other AI factions who also had a hostile stance. This will make pylons less likely. This is a really good change. This is a very, very good change. I think one of the biggest frustrations people deal with that gives them that like anti-player bias feel is that when one faction, like, you know, declares war on you or starts poking at you, it suddenly seems to lead to like a avalanche effect where it feels like every single fucking faction suddenly is like ganging up on you, or, you know, they're all doing the same thing. So now they're going to be less likely to do that. The AI is more likely to confederate minor factions on harder Immortal Empires difficulties. That's great. That's a good change. If you're playing on higher difficulties, generally speaking, you're wanting more difficult fights. You're wanting more challenges. So you want to be fighting larger empires, not just a bunch of tiny empires that are relatively easy to beat. Increase the number of deals AIs can check per turn. The AI now receives a little more time to think about diplomacy, but at the cost of in-turn performance. So basically, this just means your interns are probably going to take just a little bit longer, but the AIs are going to be more likely to negotiate with one another and be actually doing things from AI to AI, which is good. Each war increases the negative impact on an AI's faction situation much more than before, so it will strive to be in fewer battles overall. That's another really good fix. So now the AI is not going to be likely to declare war on like 35 factions simultaneously. They're going to be trying to mitigate how many they're fighting at once because they're going to treat them more seriously. It will now take the AI longer to identify which faction is its main threat. That's good. So AI factions are less likely to beeline to take out kind of their main opponent right at the start. Instead, they're going to have to take time to kind of think about it and adjust to threats as they build. AI tactical and strategic behavior. AI is more likely to carry out offensive tasks within its current active target region. Each AI is designed with a defined set of regions it would like to take and or hold per campaign, increasing the chances of it operating in regions it doesn't currently own. That's a really good change. I like that a lot. So basically, they're saying that the AI has places it wants to control due to who the faction is. So they're going to want to control kind of their ancestral land, or land that they highly value, so to speak. So it's going to be far more aggressive on offense when it's trying to take control of those specific places, which is good because that's going to help kind of give flavor of, oh, I know if I go into this territory, I'm going to attract the attention of so-and-so who's going to be fairly aggressive in trying to take it back. Reduce the amount of time that AI factions will consider territory to be recently captured. The AI is less likely to focus on these regions. So basically, If a region is recently captured, like something big has happened there not too long ago, the AI is going to be less likely to get directly involved there. But they have that status of recently captured is not going to last very long. So they're going to capture a region, or something's going to happen in a region, and once it acknowledges, okay, something's happened there, it's going to move on to somewhere else until, something else happens. Increase the inaccuracy in the AI's calculation of movement, meaning mistakes will be more common at some difficulties. So basically, that means that the AI is going to be far less effective at knowing exactly how far your movement is and moving so they're just outside of your movement, which is something a lot of people really, really hate. So it should be less good at doing that. However, the higher difficulty you're at, the better it is at doing it. So if you're playing at normal, it's going to goof fairly often. But if you're playing on legendary, it's probably almost never going to goof and is going to use its movement to the best of its ability to avoid you. Just like a human player would, because you can, literally left click on somebody's army and see how far it's going to move. The AI will not retreat forces with 4 or fewer units on any difficulty. This is a really good change. So if the AI has a tiny army left, if it's like a lord and 2 units, or you've beaten them in a battle from a prior turn and there's only like 3 or 4 units left, if it's 4 or less, they will always stand and fight. Which is good, so you're not going to have these super annoying situations of like this tiny little army that's running away from you, and they just keep running, and you're just not able to catch them. If you catch them, they're dead. AI is much more willing to defend its last settlement, even if such an action is suicidal. AI should stand their ground more often instead of escaping trying to survive. So basically, if you get the AI down to a last stand, they will do a last stand. They will rally their armies to their final settlement, and they will attempt to defend it, even if doing so means their doom. Because that's more dramatic and it's more fun, instead of them just running away and being like an annoying little 10 or 15 or 20 stack that wanders around taking attrition damage until they eventually die. So that's really, really good. Also, they should, be standing their ground more often, which means more land battles. Rework of AI defensive behavior. Instead of focusing more on regions with enemy forces inside, more emphasis now on regions with bordering enemy factions and directly dealing with enemies. So basically, this is saying that the AI, when it's trying to be defensive, is going to be much more focused on trying to bolster up its regions that are neighboring enemy factions. So it's going to be trying to build up its borders. And then if something manages to get inside of its empire, it will be more active in trying to directly deal with you by sending armies to kill you, instead of having a situation of like just sending armies to where the enemy happens to be. So like what that means is that let's say you go into the AI's empire, right? So you've moved past their border and you're inside their territory. Instead of them just moving armies to the settlements that are in the regions you're in and just waiting for you to do something, now they're going to be far more likely to be focused on defending those border territories. And if you do happen to get past the border, they're going to send armies to actually try and wipe you out instead of just waiting for you. Distance scaling has been increased. AI should focus on nearby targets more. That's good. That's what we want. Nobody likes it when the AI declares war against you when you're halfway across the planet, because why should they fucking care? Increased number of units needed for the AI to consider releasing a force for offensive actions. So this just means that the AI now has a higher threshold for what it considers an army to be finished. So instead of it only sending out like an army with 10 units, they're going to be far more likely to wait for 15, 18, 20 units, whatever that threshold happens to be. And when they take damage due to fighting or something that's going on out in the world, when they go below that threshold, the AI knows, oh, okay, I need to return home and reconsolidate and build up my strength again and get up above whatever that number happens to be. Increased number of units in existing forces needed before the AI will consider building a new army. The AI will only add new armies if it has more units in its existing forces. So basically, this is also a very, very good change. This literally means that the AI is not just going to build a bunch of like 5 stacks, instead has a number that it considers an army to be quote unquote complete at. And once it reaches that number, then it will spawn a new lord and begin to build up those armies as well. So you're going to be less likely to encounter situations where the AI has a bunch of armies that have very few things in them, and instead are going to be more likely to have fewer armies, but they are significantly more powerful and filled out. Fixed a bug where AI would incorrectly evaluate assaulting a settlement with a very weak garrison is worthless. AI evaluates primarily by how much enemy strength can be destroyed, not by the value of a settlement. So basically, this is saying that the AI is not going to ignore a settlement that it doesn't consider. Would incorrectly evaluate assaulting a settlement with a very weak garrison is worthless. AI evaluates primarily by how much enemy strength can be destroyed, not by the value of a settlement. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I'm assuming it just means that the AI has better target priority for trying to figure out what settlements it wants to attack. So it seems that it's supposed to mean... I'm assuming this means that the AI is less likely to focus its intent on settlements that are making lots of income, and is more likely to focus on settlements that it believes are going to destroy enemy forces, like recruitment and stuff like that. But I'm not 100% sure. That one's a little weirdly written. AI views the strength of siege equipment much lower. AI will attack major settlements much more quickly. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's what we want. We want the AI being aggressive. Significantly increased priority for the AI to go after a faction's last settlement. The AI should finish people off more often. That's also good. You know, it's not great in my opinion when the AI just kind of leaves another AI faction limping around and just taking up space. No, they should finish them off, devour that territory, and grow stronger. AI views garrisoning settlements as much stronger. The AI is less often to retreat from a settlement if it thinks it cannot defend, even with the garrison. So this is basically just saying that if the AI calculates that the army that's bearing down on it is likely to defeat it even with the garrison, it's less likely to abandon that settlement and is more likely to put up a fight, which is good. Improved AI logic for working out which region to recruit units in. Always good. Military recruitment. Fixed an issue that high elf factions would only recruit Rangers, Swordmasters, Ahoeth, and Athel Tomorrow Faith Bearers through allied recruitment. Well, that's very specific. Glad they fixed that. Reduced AI vampire counts propensity to recruit zombies. Good, good, good. We want them to have higher tier units. Warriors of Chaos AI factions should be more willing to upgrade Marauders and Warriors of Chaos units. Good. We want them to have higher tier baddies. AI unique behaviors. AI factions have been banned from raising settlements early in the game. With the exception of Beastmen, Khorne, and Wood Elves. So that's really good. That means that they're less likely to just be leaving random holes and are more likely to be expanding. AI factions with standard settlement occupation patterns, so not Beastmen, Wood Elves, and Khorne, will not raise or sack a settlement until they have at least 5. 3 in the case of the Vampire Coast. Once again, so the AI is far more likely to be building up empires instead of just picking like the most lucrative option of like raising or sacking, what have you. Which result in them having very, very tiny empires that just aren't as fun or interesting to deal with. So that's really good. So they're not even going to consider raising unless they are a raise-centric faction, as mentioned, unless they have appropriately, at least some space. Fix AI logic for rights incorrectly assessing if there was an army belonging to a hostile faction. Okay. AI Icket Claws more likely to use workshop buffs. Okay, that's cool. AI should now be more likely to build garrison buildings. That's good. That means the sieges are going to be more fun. AI should make better choices when building military recruitment buildings in minor or major settlements. Good, good, good. AI should be better at upgrading military recruitment buildings. All good. Gives the AI more tools to work with. Fixed a bug where some legendary heroes were not spawning for the AI. Okay. Fixed a bug where legendary heroes spawned for the AI weren't always getting all their stuff. Okay. AI start positions. Every major faction now has their faction potential, which causes different AI factions to rise and fall each time a new campaign is started, randomized on Immortal Empires and Realms of Chaos. So you're more likely to see different kinds of factions growing in strength or falling and stuff like that, which is good. Reworked faction potential calculations, so that it's now possible to make the expected value skew toward either the lower or upper bound of what is permitted for that faction. Okay, cool. Dark Elves, Cetra the Imperishable, and Archon the Black are now more aggressive. Good. I like that. I like that a lot. There is no longer a starting war between Cetra and Archon. I think that's actually good. Because while the two of them don't like one another, they often tend to be more like neutral hate buddies instead of just full on declaring war. So that's good. It also means they're less likely to just immediately wipe each other out. because you want to encounter those guys. It'd be nice to see them fight later in the campaign. Resolved an issue with passive AI units not using their ranged weapons when positioned. Okay, good. Fix multiple cases. Oh, Yivris and Broken Axe Tribe now have diplomatic contact at the start of the game. That's awesome. So Grom the Paunch and Altharian the Grim are immediately aware of one another as soon as the game starts, and they are far more likely to, attack one another and get into a war. That's good, that's good, that's good. Fix multiple cases wherein campaign AI was not correctly considering all valid options. Makes sense. Fixed a rare issue where AI armies would get stuck. Good. Made further improvements to AI barricade behavior to prevent units repeatedly docking and undocking. That's good. That's what we want to see. Battle AI. We've made some bigger changes. Say goodbye to the cheating AI and hello to a more engaging battle experience. Well, we'll have to see, won't we? Depending on the difficulty level you choose, the AI will now behave differently. On lower difficulties, expect a more passive and less efficient AI, while on higher difficulties, the AI will be more aggressive and focused. So they give a bunch of examples here, where if you're playing on very hard, the AI will have instant reaction times where possible, whereas on easy, it's going to be slow. And we've seen these building up over the various patches, so this is just continuing to build on that. More difficulty options. We've added more granularity to the AI stats difficulty settings, giving you a wider range of options to find the perfect challenge for your playstyle. That's awesome. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. So AI stats modifier is now an actual slider, so you can decide how many buffs you want to give the AI on top of just the difficulty determining behavior. So they're actually being 100% honest of that. The difficulty now does not determine if the AI gets cheating stats. Instead, it determines their play style in battle. That's really good. I think that's a change a lot of people have wanted to see. So now if you want them to cheat, so, give them those extra stats to make them even harder to defeat, that's excellent. You can do that. If you just want the smarter AI, but you don't want them getting cheating stat buffs, you can turn that off, which is excellent. The more player choice, the better. To help you understand the impact of your chosen level, we've added visual representation. Cool, cool, cool. Races and balance changes. Strengthen the garrisons of Tier 3 minor settlements and garrison buildings for all races that have them. Good. Awesome. Excellent. I have noticed this. I have noticed that there is definitely much more powerful garrisons in many scenarios. Like your Tier 1, Tier 2 settlements are still pretty baby. And are very, very easy to get curb stomped, but they should be. Like a Tier 1 and Tier 2 is like practically like a town in a village, Those are not defensible scenarios unless there's an army there. But Tier 3 and bigger do feel stronger to me. I'm curious if they're going to feel strong enough, but I am happy to hopefully see them, not only improving the garrisons, but more importantly, making them larger, so I could really feel like I'm getting the full experience when I'm fighting a siege of really filling out these cities that we have. Added a faction climate list in the Lord selection scheme under the map tab. Good. Just makes it, more information for the players. Several traits that are innate have been updated to make them better. Ogre Kingdoms. Deboner now gives you 20% extra meat instead of only 10, and you also get +4 melee attack on all lords and heroes embedded in the army. That's excellent. That's a great trait. Very good change. Farter now also gives you 8% campaign movement. Great. Cool. Farter so goofy. Flabby not only gives you mass, but also gives you +20 armor. Excellent. Big Daddy, instead of just +3 charge, gives you +10, and also gives you 30% extra leadership aura. Excellent. I love it. Maw Preacher now gives you -2 corruption and +2 control. Good. Yeah, that's definitely better. Martial Artist for Grand Cathay now gives 2 more melee defense and also 5% physical resistance. I like it. Harmonizer now gives more leadership when fighting chaos, and also grants a +30% aura size, a leadership aura size when defending. Cool, very good. Bureaucrat, +2 control instead of +1, and also you get cheaper construction. I like that a lot. Enlighten gives you more reserve charge to your Winds of Magic. Cool, cool, cool. Fervent Questioner now gives more corruption reduction and also gives additional income in your local region. That's good. That's a really good trait for a defensive character. Karsar Headman now gives additional leadership aura size, which is awesome, especially on top of +5 leadership in your own territory. Those combine very nicely. Strongholder now gives you 10% physical resistance on top of melee defense. Excellent. We love to see it. Judicator gives significantly more corruption reduction. Good. Student of Mishka now gives you 5% extra capacity to your Winds of Magic. That is very, very strong. Excellent trait. Nurgle. You have now a 12% chance to spread plagues, in addition to what you already have, and you also get the Aura of Pestilence passive. Very, very good. That's an excellent change. Love when you get, like, passive buffs. Fomenter gives additional corruption and 10% extra campaign movement. You love to see it. Campaign movement, can't ever go wrong with that. Repellent gives twice as much melee defense and also lowers enemy hero success chance by 15%. That is excellent. Scabrous gives 10 armor now instead of 6 and 15% spell resistance. Okay, that's pretty cool. Infectious now gives 15% additional character experience. A plus. We love character experience, especially on Nurgle Boys. And Corpulent now gives 10% extra weapon strength. Fantastic. I would take that on any of my characters. Slash now gives 50% casualties captured instead of 10%. Good. Perfectionist now gives 12% additional experience and a 15% bonus to your seduce units budget instead of 8. That's fantastic. That is really strong, actually. Sleek now gives you Strider. Very cool. Depraver now gives you 3 instead of 1 corruption. Good. Glad to see these corruption numbers getting bigger. Murderer for Corn not only gives you more casualties, but 8% additional loot. Great. Excellent. Serial Killer Instinct also gives you plus 15 to your charge. That's what we love to see. Maimer gives you plus 50 armor piercing damage. Hot damn. That is very nice. Bludgeonous Slaughterer gives you plus 5 melee attack and 10% weapon strength instead of only 4. Fantastic. Love to see it. Bad Hat's more corruption. Good. Great on Cultists. Zinch Pinioned now gives you 20% less vigor loss reduction. Good. Not amazing, but, you know, all right. Baffler is minus 15% success chance for enemy heroes and less chance to miscast. It's going to be fantastic on your heroes. Corruptor now plus 3 corruption. Cool. Skaven Sharp Claws now gives plus 10 charge bonus and 15% weapon strength. Damn. Sharp Teeth, 40 extra armor piercing damage. Oh. And plus 8 melee attack instead of plus 3. That is fantastic. Vampire Counts, their leadership aura is bigger and more effective. Cool, great. Vicious for Dark Elves is now plus 8s instead of plus 3s. Great, very cool. Lore, magic stuff, Mental Gorax cheaper to cast. Cool. Swiftwing is cheaper to cast. Nice. Transmutation of Lead lasts for almost a minute now. That's more like it. That's what we really need to be seeing. And something I know Anticity's kind of beat the drums on a fair bout is that when you're doing buffs and debuffs, they really need to last for pretty long periods of time. So I do like seeing these much longer debuffs. Withering is cheaper to cast. Cool. Ocken's Mind Razor is substantially cheaper to cast for the Overcast. It's quite nice. Pendulum's cheaper. Very nice. Melkos Mystifying Miasma is more expensive. That does make sense to me. It's a very effective spell. So, yeah. Okay. That works. Curse of Midnight's cheaper. Cool. Wind Blast is cheaper. That makes sense considering how it's significantly not as powerful as it used to be. Toothcracker lasts 10 seconds longer, and the upgrade version now lasts for a whole freaking minute. Good. Soul Blight lasts longer. Good. Doom and Darkness is now cheaper. Excellent. Purple Sun is now slower moving around. Its movement has been cut roughly in half. That is excellent. That's really good. You do not want those big vortex spells moving around too quickly. You want them to sit where you cast them for a second and really get your damage out of it. Shield Thorns lasts for 7 more seconds. Fantastic. Doombolt's cheaper. Excellent. Blade Wind, it moves much slower. Good. Constellation of the Dragon is substantially cheaper to cast. Excellent. Wall of Fire's cheaper. Good. Crystal Sanctuary now gives an 80% ward save instead of 60%. Fan-frickin-tastic. Individual race updates. Beastmen do need to destroy Marienburg for their long victory. Neat. Beastmen events no longer reduce upkeep. Good, because they... Or recruitment, because they don't have either of those, so that's great. Added a monetary reward for the Beastman finale battle, the Fall of Man. Excellent. That's very, very good. You want that big buff. Added bonus XP per turn to the Beastman Lord's red skill tree to make them with everyone else. Cool, because that is standard now. Bretonia. Damsels now get their vows. Good. Bretonia can now raise and sack Chaos Dwarf settlements. Oh, well, yeah, okay, that's pretty important. Grail Knights, Grail Guardians are now medium instead of large. They can't just charge through everything. They will run out of steam when plowing through infantry, which is good. That's the way it should be. They shouldn't be able to just effortlessly smash their way through. Grail Knights are also now more expensive in multiplayer and also recruitment, which, you know, they're very, very good, so that makes sense. Grail Relics a little more expensive. Foot Squires are a little more expensive. Battle Crows are more expensive. Let's see. They fixed a little display bug with the Fey Enchantress. They have also fixed some notable issues with the tech tree for involving Rapans. All very nice. Chaos Dwarfs got quite a few little things. Updated gatehouse logic for Chaos Dwarf settlements to prevent destruction models killing units. That's definitely good. You don't want the gatehouse blowing up and killing everyone. Fixing the lock issue with characters dying when attacking the Chaos Dwarf gatehouse. That's related, so that's good. That's a good fix. Let's see. Fix the reset button in the labor economy panel, not resetting entries. Okay. Level 2 Chaos Dwarf Tower settlement building now displays its raw materials cost as intended. Good. Fix an issue where Chaos Dwarf convoys would cause players to receive Cathay-themed events. Funny, but all right. Envoy ancillary has been fixed. Good. Fixed an instance where Cathay caravans would become stuck in place. Good. I definitely saw that a few times. I'm glad they fixed that. Fixed an issue because they usually got stuck in Zarnagrand. Fixed cases where Chaos Dwarf hero recruitment never generated heroes. Okay, that's definitely an important fix. Let's see. Fixed a bug where contempt was not being applied to robots. Good. All units with Iron Demon or Skullcracker have been added to rare single entity cap. Makes sense. When a Dreadquake mortar is towed by an Iron Demon runs out of ammo, it now switches to your Iron Demon guns. Very nice. That allows it to keep shooting. Good. They fixed the Sorceress Miasma and the Lamasu. Very nice. Iron Demons and carriage variants. Yeah, definitely got some debuffs. Because, like, you want the Skullcracker to be super good at combat. The regular Iron Demon should not be nearly that good at combat. So I'm glad they're reining it in a little bit. So substantially less melee attack, charge bonus, base weapon damage, armor piercing damage. It's not nearly as good as knockback, and it's more expensive. So they were just grossly overperforming. Yeah, if you want your train to be ripping people to pieces in combat, get a Skullcracker. So yeah, good. And here we see that even the Skullcracker got tuned down a bit. Though it's not tuned down quite as much. It still has quite a bit more melee attack, and it also has quite a bit more damage, but it has been reined in as well. Good. Fix some other bug issues. Nice. Demons of Chaos always make me super duper salty, because I want this faction to have Bellicor in it and also be just substantially more fun to play, and right now it's just not that. So they just got some minor fixes. Dark Elves. Ricard gets his first tech unlock, so he's like all of the Dark Elves. Good. Canine Assassins enlist slaves action will now update correctly. Good. Fix some other things there. Cool. The Cauldron of Blood. The riders on the Cauldron of Blood and the Blood Rack Shrine now have missile attacks. Oh, okay, that's cool. So they actually do something now, which is nice. So the Witch Elf riders will now throw daggers at 55-meter radius. This has been changed as the Witch Elves were benefiting from charge bonus, which inflated their damage to unreasonable levels. So basically, okay, so they actually were doing something. They were just too good at it. So instead of them having melee attacks where they were benefiting from the very large charge buffs and were probably hitting way too hard, they now are just chucking daggers at people, which, you know, fine. That's a reasonable fix. Cruel as a trait has been reworked. It used to only work on lords, but now it can be gained by lords and heroes, and it's been split in two variants. For lords, if you get Cruel, they get bonus sacking income, and if heroes get Cruel, they get bonus raiding income to the armies they join. However, both of them will now also get weapon strength bonus to compensate for lacking the other half. That's awesome. I'll take that. That's great. Fixed a tech bug. Cool. Dwarves, Thorgrim's Axe of Grimnir quest now is working correctly. That's good. Flame cannons are now notably cheaper and have longer range and better calibration. Excellent. Journey's End now does what it's supposed to. Good. Fix Thorgrim's grudges. Nice. Okay, cool. Oh gosh, Grand Cathay. So many things for Grand Cathay. Cathay. Skills on Cathay Dragon Lords no longer mistakenly show units. Okay. Dissenter Lords and Rebel Lords are now more hostile to Cathay. Makes sense. Items are now for Miao Ying and Zhao Ming, which is awesome. I'm super happy with those items. The Wuxing Compass now applies to regions owned by Cathayan factions on top of regions within Cathay itself. So they're now useful everywhere instead of just in Cathay, which is very nice. Some of the effects of the Wuxing Compass have been tweaked, so they're always worth taking instead of only in very specific circumstances. Adjusted Cathay income building, so Yang variant has higher base income as like its kind of gimmick. Fix the Warpstone Desert direction for not actually increasing sale value. Fix the Von Karstein blade so that you are being correctly rewarded it. Fix an issue where rebel armies were spawning with weird characters. Fix the Blessed by End Riches trait for Caravan Masters. Fix the player being able to swap. Okay. that is a very silly bug. I'm glad they fixed that. Wuxing Compass. With the addition of Yuan Bo, we have our first Cathayan character as a campaign set outside Cathay. So the compass now affects all of your territory instead of just Cathay. However, whoever is using the compass, it does benefit all Cathayan factions. So whenever a Cathayan faction is selecting a compass direction, it does buff all the Cathayan boys, not just the player or the AI for that matter. So, okay, the Wuxing Compass has two separate conditions. It will either target Cathay specific or controlled by Cathayan factions. If you are playing as any of the other siblings, Yuan Bo's extra 4 directions are present but unlockable, or you cannot unlock them. However, if Yuan Bo, the AI Yuan Bo, puts his direction or compass in those directions, you will still benefit from the passive buffs, which is quite nice. Or whatever buffs, actually. Additionally, we've done pass on the effects, just a position of some effects to which, in my opinion, make it better. I think the compass is actually much more interesting now. Celestial Intervention is no longer on the Great Bastion and is instead for the Dragon Emperor's Wrath, which is good because it actually means that I use Dragon Emperor's Wrath quite a bit more often. And Ancestral Warriors, since faction-wide harmony is gone, is now the Great Bastion option, which is fine. Cool. So, harmony, I've already covered this in a video, so I'm going to go ahead and skip this. I have a video like purely dedicated to the FLC changes for the DLC factions, most notably the Harmony system. I do think the new Harmony is substantially better than old Harmony. Like, I've heard some people say that it's less complex, but I don't actually agree. The old system, I don't think it was complex at all. It was just a system where it forced you to try and make decisions within a box. Like, it forced you to make certain kinds of decisions to try and maintain harmony instead of trying to figure out what buffs are best for you in any kind of given situation. This system, I think, is just as complex, but instead of it being a system where it punishes you if you don't do one specific thing, instead is a system where it has different kinds of rewards, and you need to weigh the different benefits and try and figure out which benefits are going to be most ideal for you and your campaign, which I think is a substantially more interesting situation, especially when you're trying to actually have harmony itself, which is the best bonus in my opinion, especially on like fully finished settlements. Like Yin is better for new areas, Yang is better for military areas, but then harmony is better in literally any other circumstance. And there's a lot more hemming and hawing to it, in my opinion. I think this is a really good change. I'm not against the idea of them bringing back faction-wide harmony, but I think faction-wide harmony should be determined by other things, or it should be like whenever you have a province that is yin or yang, it adds a point, you know, to your overall harmony. So if I have a province that's yang aligned, that's 1 point towards my global harmony. That could maybe add some more interesting nuance to it while returning that feature. But I think for right now, this is a really good direction to take it in. Let's see. The Greater Arcane Conduit from Wise trait is now just plus 10% spell intensity instead of Greater Arcane Conduit, which makes sense. Greater Arcane Conduit should not be a generic trait. That's way too fucking powerful for that. Lord Magistrate on foot now has quite a bit more armor and health. Cool. On Warhorse, same thing. Cool, especially for the Caravan Master. Fix some bugs, fix some clarifications. Cool. Greenskins, general updates. Fixed a problem with Grom's Cauldron interacting with certain units. Excellent. Fixed a collision issue on barricades. Cool. Pump wagons are now properly being included in building chains. That is very, very good. Snotling pump wagons have actually received some pretty interesting changes. So they now have missile attacks. So now whenever they do the whole thing where they're like throwing spores at people, it is now a 55-meter missile attack that they're constantly throwing around, instead of it being like a combat attack, because, and this specifies that they were benefiting from the charge bonus. So they would have an issue where like the actual wagons themselves were doing reasonable damage, but the snotlings throwing spores in combat being inflated by the charge bonus were outrageous. So now they're missile attacks, which means A, they can use them at range, so they can be attacking people as they're like driving by and stuff, and be, you know, throwing them in combat, but they're no longer being inflated by charge bonus, which I think is quite reasonable. They've also made it where you're a little bit better at hitting more people in combat, which is fine. Makes them a little more reliable. Grimgore's Bigger and Arter now applies to Orc Boar Boy Biggins. I think that's totally reasonable. The big lads get the buffs. Fix some other issues. High Elves. Fix some landmark problems. Cool. Fixed a couple of... Okay, that's good. They fixed the noble action. Cool. Alariel's Power of Nature feature will now continue to function when her faction is confederated. Very nice. Let's see. So, like, Alariel is still, like, a really sexy character. If you confederate her, she still buffs all the places she walks through, which is quite nice. See, the Phoenix... the Omen of Assurance specifically is a little cheaper. Eltharion on foot is a little cheaper. Eltharion on a steed is a little cheaper. Neat. Khorne. Let's see. The Chaos Mortals of Khorne are now heavier. They have more mass. More heavy metal. Cool. Let's see. Blood Crushers are no longer in Hamvil into Anvil because they're a demon unit. Makes sense. They're not supposed to be there. Character skill effects that gave authority to Khorne Exalted Heroes now grant corruption instead. Great. That's awesome because authority is completely useless to demon armies, or should I say monogod armies. So it's good that they instead do what they're supposed to. Let's see. Renegotiate bargains. It's a tech that has been altered, so now it gives better buffs to your soul grinders going pew 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 pew. So, you know, makes them better at shooting and gives them more to shoot with. Kislev, fix some issues. Campaign fixed an issue where Kislev could recruit. Okay. Devotion can now go negative. Oh my. Meaning low levels of devotion. Oh, okay. That's okay. I actually really, really like this. So I always hated that, like, you would get like the penalty for having no devotion when you had some, you just didn't have a lot. Now low devotion is no, you have 0 devotion. But this is actually a really, really nice change because that means you can always do devotion related things. You can always do the invocation of one of the gods. You can always build. Oh, actually, they don't have the building, the devotion building anymore. But like, you can like do things with it. And if it happens to go negative because shit's going bad, or you're taking penalties from fighting other Kislevite factions, that's good. And that's when you start to get like punished. Yeah, devotion cost to construct buildings has been removed. I think that's fine. It literally was only on like a very small handful of buildings. I think it was on like a handful of landmark buildings, and then it was just on like the Orthodoxy churches, which like I'd rather find more interesting ways to spend devotion. Like using them for the invocations, and using them. I actually really like this, using it for the commandment. So if you take a province that is entirely chaos waste attrition, you can use a unique commandment that gets rid of all of the negative climate debuffs, but it costs you devotion every turn. I want to say it's like 4. I want to say it's 5 devotion every turn. Now, it only works if every single settlement in that province is chaos waste attrition, chaos wasteland. Attrition, I meant environment. So, like, if, like, Boris, so a good example is, like, Boris, Tsar Boris's starting province has an ice area, an ice environment, and then 3 chaos waste environments. But because one of them is an ice or a tundra or whatever, you cannot use this commandment because one of them is good territory and the other 3 are bad territory. Which is why I have asked them, and hopefully they'll get around to making it where the starting settlement for Boris counts as chaos waste attrition instead of snow attrition, because I would much rather all of them be chaos waste so that I can use the freaking thing. Especially because Boris actually has a really cool interaction with this, where Boris generates devotion from chaos waste land. So you can use this commandment, and instead of it costing him 5 devotion per turn like it would every other Kislev faction, instead it only costs him like 1 per turn because he's earning a fair bit of devotion from his settlements, which I think is a really, really cool interaction. But this is unique to the devotion groups. So, like, Mother Ostankia does not benefit from this because she does not have devotion. Let's see. Fix some little bug problems. Ice Guard now have siege mentality, and then just a bunch of multiplayer notes. I am working on a video of a bunch of recommended changes for Kislev that I'm actually really excited to talk about. I'll probably be talking about that in a couple days once, probably this weekend is what I would guess. Maybe Friday. Lizardmen, they fixed the Kai. Great, awesome. They fixed some issues with quest battles. Cool. Eating captives now heals your single entity lizards. Neat. Krokgar got some little fixes. Oxiodal can make silent sanctums and chaos dwarf settlements. Good, good, good. Visions of the Old Ones can teleport him. They fixed some issues with the final battle. The aquatic trait has been added to feral troglodytes, the pale death, and skink oracles. Excellent. That is very excellent. I would really, really like for them to add the aquatic trait as a actual trait, like a passive trait that shows up like Woodsman does. Because right now aquatic is kind of hidden. They should definitely do that. Remove some units that are not supposed to be under Epicentris. Cool. Added Razordons to text. Cool. Prize Hunter Ancillary now benefits Troglodons and Dreadsaurians. Neat. Norska, they can once again enslave forces they defeat to gain replenishment. Cool. That's nice. Healing is always good. Added 6 new technologies that allow you to target the Wood Elves, Chaos Dwarves, and Ogre Kingdoms. Excellent. That's excellent news. Good, 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 good. I'm curious. I'm actually curious what the Ogre settlement is. I wonder if it's the Great Hall of Greasus or if it's something else. Throg's army is now immune to all attrition types. Cool. Azric, the Lord of Change, now has the demonic trait. Makes sense. Nurgle fixed a bug where Barons of the Bog weren't being granted buffs. Cool. Nurgle skill that affects heroes now grants corruption instead of... Okay, yeah. Ogre Kingdoms. Gorgers are cheaper. Noblars are more expensive and no longer have their bonus versus infantry, which was a little much. Sky Striders are now more expensive, and Noblar traps actually work correctly. Good, good, good. Skaven, Storm Vermin with Sword and Shield are cheaper. Warp Lightning Cannons now are cheaper and have higher calibration. I can't remember if calibration distance is good or bad. I don't remember if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Slanesh, fix some bugs. And Intoxicating Presence now works on heroes. Neat. The Empire fixed a duplicate problem. Cool. Fix some problems. Gotrek and Felix now get ancillaries in campaign. Hooray! Amethyst Wizards got a skill they were missing. Neat. Steam tanks are now cheaper. Neat. Tomb Kings fixed a landmark problem that was not applying perfect vigor to Shopti. Good, good, good. We need that. Capture power for all the basic bitch skeletons has been lowered, so they're not as effective. Good. Fixed an issue with a tech. Okay. All right, so continuing with Zinc, because I had a weird break in the middle of, while I was reading this, I got the time wrong for the reveal show when I was recording this, and it turns out I had to leave immediately to go do that live stream. So we're back. Let's finish up the patch notes. So back with Zinc. I believe we already talked about the Winds of Magic level, but just to reiterate it, now when you are determining the strength level, it will give you information on the provinces that you're working with. So if you have, so Zinc has numerous buildings that get bonuses to their effects if they have enough winds of magic in the area. And now when you are manipulating the winds, it will actually show you if the areas that you're manipulating to, if the levels that are going up and down are going to trigger your building effects and such. So that's really, really solid. I think this is a really good change to make this ability significantly easier to use. Changing of the Ways has received a couple of changes, though we've talked about these pretty heavily. So we could see that Halt Faction is now Halt Army, so it's not as overpowered. Force Rebellion damages the walls, which gives the rebellion easier time when attacking them. And then Show Faction Intentions for Kairos has been replaced by Borrow Time, which allows him to basically completely refill an army's movement range, which is really, really powerful. And then for the Changeling and Village, it is changed to Spread Corruption. So basically you target an army that you control as Village or the Changeling, and it will just dump a bunch of corruption on that province, which can be quite effective for Zinch. And then Give War Coordination target has been replaced by Force Peace, which is very, very, very good. I think those are fantastic overall changes. Unholy Manifestations. For Zinch, his Scriveners of Insanity has changed. It's now pretty solid. So now it takes 2 turns to complete, and it gives you 125 grimoires per turn. However, you lose 7 winds of magic per turn. However, you are also able to continue moving, which is really, really nice. So it doesn't freeze you in place in enemy territory like it used to. And then once you complete it, you also gain plus 20% extra grimoires from battles for 5 turns, which is pretty nice. Mutagenic Energies manifestation. The attrition damage, instead of lasting for 1 turn, now lasts for 5 turns, so you're far more likely to get some good use out of it. And Magic Flare now also grants 20% ammunition for the base form, and the Ascendant form gives you 30% ammunition. So basically, the Unholy Manifestations for Zinch, you got some buffs. And then for Campaign, they've talked about the Changing of the Way actions can now target armies when they're at sea. Solid. They have swapped the positions of the Scrolls of Destiny and Reckoning of Transmorgification in Kairos' skill tree. Cool. And then your bonus library, your bonus grimoires, when you have surplus winds of magic in your library buildings, now gives you more grimoires per turn. Then just a couple little fixes. Vampire Coast. Fixed an issue where additional loot would not always generate when entering encounters at sea at Arnes Assault Spite when you have the Your Worst Nightmare skill. Very good to fix that. That's a key part of her design. The Damned Knights Errants now have lance formation, so they're consistent with other Knights Errant. Good. Mourngulls are cheaper. Necrofix Colossus is cheaper. Handguns for Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs have received some damage increases. And then the Deck Gunners have got 4 extra entities. Very, very nice. Queen Bess got some bug fixes, as well as Count Noctilus. On to the Vampire counts. Sylvania can now confederate Templehof instead of just having to beat them to death the old-fashioned way, so that's good. Isabel von Karstein does not lose her immortality should she be confederated, which is good. You do want to keep her around. They fix some issues with some quest battles, fix some issues with Mourngulls, yep, fix some text problems. Cool. Warriors of Chaos. They fixed the Champion of Chaos Legendary Lords being unable to upgrade demons to Exalted Demons. That's very nice. So basically, you can now upgrade your Pink Horrors to Exalted Pink Horrors, your Plague Bearers to Exalted Plague Bearers, etc., etc. So that's very, very nice. Removed access to landmarks at Shiama's Rest and Chamber of Visions because you couldn't build them anyway. And then events will now appear for when Village changes the ways actions and when factions are on the receiving end of them, so you actually know what the hell's going on. Because they could actually stealth up on you because events would not appear. Campaign fixed a number of bug issues. Archaon has his victory conditions upgraded, or updated, I should say. Very nice. Fixed issue with the Vessel of Chaos quest battle. Swapped the Indomitable skill on Herald of the Hammerstorms thing for Susang. So now he gets like a larger leadership aura instead of bonus leadership because he was already unbreakable. He didn't need that. Then they fixed a couple of bug problems. The Hell Cannon Soul of Damnation now have a larger calibration distance and a smaller calibration area. And then just a couple other bug fixes. Wood Elves. Ariel now spawns correctly, which is good. And if you are playing as a Wood Elf faction, she will not. The AI will not beat you to getting Ariel, which is very good. Fixed Ariel spawning for the AI when there were human non-Drycha Wood Elves. Fixed Ariel spawning for the AI when there were human. Oh, strange. All right, good fix. The Dreaming Wood event now gives Slanesh Corruption specifically instead of Undivided to better match its theming. That makes sense. That's awesome. I think it's very good. Glamour now reduces melee defense instead of reload skill. That makes more sense in my opinion. Wild Riders are cheaper in multiplayer. Sisters of the Thorn now have 60 ladies per unit instead of only 48. Glade Riders are cheaper. All variants, and War Dancers are cheaper, the spear variant. And then Way Watchers deal more damage. Feral Bears now appear under the tooltip. Good. And then a couple little fixes to the tech tree. Gotcha. Campaign stuff. Okay, so they fixed some issues with the Realm of Chaos campaign. Immortal Empires, they have added a substantial amount of little alterations. So Fushao is now the provincial capital of the ocean, of the ports, I should say, in the Jade River Delta over in Grand Cathay, while Beishai has become a minor settlement. Fushao has also gained a super port, just like Marienburg and Ehrengrad have, to signify its new status. And then the Western Oblast and Troll Country have been combined to make one province that has 4 settlements instead of 2 provinces that only have 2. Also, each of the Oblasts now has a major settlement. So you have Fort Ostrusk in Troll Country, Volksgrad in the Eastern Oblast, and Fort Jakova in the Southern Oblast. This also allows them to have 4 settlements each, while because the Northern Oblast got the Eastern Oblast got Plesk, and then the Southern Oblast got Igorov. So now each of them has 4. Katerin and Kostaltin now start with a minor settlement and a major settlement. So Kostaltin starts with Castle Alexandronov in addition to Ehrengrad, while Katerin starts with Zavastra and Kislev. Very nice. And then a new settlement has been added to Northwest Lustria, which is the Isle of the Crimson Skull as part of the Amara Swamps province. And that is where Yuan Bo begins his campaign. And this is also where Mazdamundi's quest battle takes place, fun fact, and used to be on the old Vortex map, so it's nice to see it appearing. And then they show off the new maps here. So you've got this little ambush map they show for some reason. Then you've got the new Beastman Hearthstone map, the new Domination map, which is Lizardman themed, and it's the spawning pools. Then you've got new maps for the Chaos Waste Mountain. So if you're fighting a Chaos Waste in the Chaos Waste and you're fighting in the mountains, you can encounter some new maps to fight on, which is quite nice. Fixed a couple little other bugs. Fixed some bugs. I don't care. Just moving along. Fixed some issues with domination battles. Fixed some issues with Mirrors of Madness. Fixed some minor settlement problems. Major settlement battles. Let's see. Towers can now shoot better in Zarnagrand. Better Zufbar. Fixed Zarnagrand stuff. Updated reinforcement zones to prevent attacking reinforcements from deploying within the city of Altdorf and Dragonfang Mountain. I think it's supposed to be Dragonfang Mount. I don't think it's usually called Dragonfang Mountain. But anyway. Updated capture point flags for Paravon. Fix some collision issues. Fix some issues with the Shrine of Cain in the ancient city of Quintex. Ancestral warriors can no longer be spawned within city walls if you're the attacker. Survival battles now have difficulty settings. Ooh, I need to have more fun with these. I haven't delved into those as much as I'd like to. Multiplayer issues. Okay, so I don't really get to play. I really want to play more multiplayer, but unfortunately I just don't have much time. So we'll just kind of you can read it for yourself. And then of course, we've talked about it. I've already made videos talking about this, but the Lore of Light and the Lore of Beast have received new audio and visual effects, which is very, very nice. So they're much prettier looking and I think communicate what they're doing better. They're more unique and easier to spot. And they have better sounds. Very cool. Graphics fixed a whole lot of graphical problems. So I'm not going to worry about looking at all these because they're just, it's just a bunch of X. So that's good. That's good. A bunch of audio things have been fixed. Lovely, lovely, lovely. A bunch of UI things have been fixed. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Caravans and convoys now show the value of cargo they're carrying above the army banner when controlled by the AI. This value will be given as loot if you beat them. Ooh, very nice. Just looking for anything that really jumps out at me. A lot of these are Lore of the Deep is no longer incorrectly referred to as Lore of the Deeps, so that's good. I do like when they thank people on the forums for like helping them find problems. That's always very nice of them. Okay, they fixed a couple things. Good. More fixes. Looking forward. And there you have it. I'm going to skip all this nonsense because this is basically just them saying that patch notes from now on will come out the day before instead of the day of, which is good. Update 4.1, they've already started on update 4.1, which I know for a fact because there are already numbers of things that I have been hard submitting, being like, y'all should fix this, and do this, and those poor bastards are already slaving away at it. Appreciate those devs. Really do appreciate those devs. So yeah, 4.1 should be out relatively soon. 4.0, of course, has a ton of stuff in it, whether or not you're getting the DLC. And then, of course, Thrones of Decay is looming on the horizon. And that's it. So, overall, very excited for patch 4.0. I think it has a massive amount of wonderful kick-ass things for whether or not you are buying the DLC, which is always what you want to see, right? Like, yeah, sure, the DLC is cool and exciting and stuff, but you always want to see a massive amount of improvements to just the game itself. And patch 4.0, the time that I've spent with it has been quite nice. I have deeply enjoyed it so far. And for the way I played the game, it seems to be feeling in a pretty good place. There are definitely still some changes that need to be made. There are always more bugs to be squashed, because let's face it, anytime they add something or fix something, a new bug pops up somewhere else. They're like cockroaches. They're impossible to get rid of. And then, yeah, but overall, I am pretty happy with 4.0. There's a lot of really good changes in here. There's a lot of things that I'm really excited about. I really like the changes to siege battles. I really like the changes to the Kislev area as far as it having like actual forts now with the major settlements. I really like the new harmony system. I really enjoy the changes they made to Zinc. They fixed a lot of really important bugs. Like Nakai is now playable and Bretonnian damsels are now upgradable. Which are all very nice things, and overall, just a lot of really good changes. So patch 4.0, I think is in a pretty good place, but we'll see. Do let me know if there's anything that jumped out at you guys down below, and I'll see you when I see you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.